Okay, we are.
We're officially live.
We're live. We are live on Instagram. Okay, Instagram is live.
Oh, nice.
Check YouTube. YouTube is live. Is Zoom live? That's the question. Let's join the Zoom call and see if it's working. Okay, the Zoom might not be working. Can you ask Salvo to join the Zoom in the original meeting?
Okay. He's doing it. I asked if he can see us. He says he can see us on Instagram.
Yeah, I know. All right, I think are just gonna get going.
Just slight technical difficulties, huh?
It worked so good yesterday.
Yeah. He can only see you on.
All right, that's not ideal. That's okay.
That's weird. I wonder why that is.
All right, for the sake of this, we're just go live on Instagram, and yeah, I'm gonna end Zoom.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna move us here. Zach, you get us started. I'm way too flustered right now.
Don't be flustered. Don't worry.
I think we've got people. We've got a few. Yeah. Go ahead, Zach. I'm gonna hit record.
Sorry, let me just hit record on Riverside. I think we're already recording. Sorry, let me just hit record on Riverside. I think we're already recording.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. We're good to go?
We are good to go.
Hey everyone, sorry for joining late. We were experiencing some technical difficulties. This is our first AMA on a new software, so we're glad to finally be connected. Sorry for the delay. My name is Dr. Zach Harden. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Stride, and I'm with Greg Gerla, our CEO, and Dominic Walter, or should I say Walter, our Head of Design. He's in Germany right now and is kind enough to be joining us almost at 6:30 p.m. So super appreciate it. In addition to taking all of your questions, at least for the few of you that remained for so long, we really appreciate it. We're here to just talk about insoles, custom orthotics, footwear, and all things that have to do with health from the knee down, I guess. I have a couple topics of discussion that I'm very interested in, that also I get asked about a lot. So I'm going to pose it as a question to you, Dominic. The context is the Stride soles orthotics typically have the base layer, which is that more rigid piece of 3D printed TPU, that plastic. Then on top, there's a foam layer. And then on top of that foam layer, we have a vegan lining. So my question to you is that always the best top cover for everyone? Is it better sometimes to have no top cover? Is it sometimes better to have kind of different options? Just if you could share a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So, well, let's take a look at the real example. So the black thing is what you mean with the base layer. That's what gives you the stability. That's what has all the effect. That what considers your imprint, your pain zones, all of that. So that's the functional part of the orthotics. It has some holes in it, which is good for several reasons. One is the foot climate, obviously. So you have some breathability. Every step you get a little pump to keep the air flowing and a moisture low. And depending on the geometry of that, we can determine different hard areas. So that's first of all for this. Concerning the top layer or the cushion layer, we have several options for sports, for instance, for athletes like soccer or football, as we call it in Germany. We very often use no top cover whatsoever because of the breathability again and the grip level. If you have this rough surface directly under your foot, the harsh and sudden direction changes are way better because the force transmission is more direct. So
But like you're saying, like I know that you build orthotics for like professional soccer players and other athletes. They don't have any top cover.
No, usually when you see their socks, it's quite funny. They wear the socks with the rubber knobs on the bottom. Little children learn walking, so they have better grip. So actually they like it without the top cover. But for hygienic reasons, it's always good to have the top cover because you can simply wash it off, right? It's a vegan leather. So for your everyday shoes, also for running shoes, it's good to have the top cover. There you don't want to have that level of grip. You want to slip a little bit inside. So that's where we use the vegan leather on top. And the cushion layer is just...
How come do you want, why is slipping good sometimes?
If you have a repetitive movement pattern, like for running, for instance, it's always the same stride, usually, right? And if you have too much grip, then you might get blisters because the skin rubs always in the same way. Whereas in difference, the harsh direction changes, you want to have that friction.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the cushion layer just gives you the extra comfort for everyday walking. So that's our high level top cover with the cushion zone. It also has some kind of memory effect. So the more you walk on it, the more the foam compresses on the high load area and therefore spreads force and reduces pressure, which is pretty nice. So different tasks require different top covers.
Makes sense. And then we right now typically recommend for the average person to do the foam and the vegan leather lining top cover together, with the rationale being it's right away like very easy to, it makes it easier to adjust to the custom orthotic having that foam layer. What we tell our patients is that foam, while it feels good, isn't going to provide the long-lasting support and correction ability that the orthotic ultimately delivers. It can just ease that transition from going from no orthotic to now having a medical device under your foot. Do you have any sort of preferences when it comes to the thickness of that foam, or what it should, how hard it should be?
Well, we decided to go with the foam that we have because it doesn't cushion away everything. Because if it would be too soft, all our bone structures, the tendons, the muscles, the load will come off of them. Therefore, they might degenerate. So we have the perfect thickness for that extra memory effect, as I said. So if you want to lower pressure, it's actually good to have it. And yeah, so for severe deformities, like again, my favorite example, diabetes, it's always good to have a thicker cushion layer. But for us, for the regular Joe Schmo, it's okay with the one we have.
I didn't know Joe Schmo is the same in German as it is in English. We have Joe Schmoes too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to pharmacies and the Apotheke in Germany, and they're a little bit different than the ones in the United States. But I think they do sell over-the-counter inserts at some of them. Is that correct? And they a lot of times have like a little cutout in the plastic when they're hanging on the shelf where it says like "touch me" or like "feel me," and it's like a big gel heel thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
And you push it in, and at first I push it in, and I go, "Oh, this feels really soft." Like, wow. And then I think, well, if I'm able to compress it just with my thumb or even my small finger just standing, what is it really doing for the full weight of my heel going down on it with every step time after time? And I imagine it can't be good for me in the long term.
Exactly. But the question is, why do they do it? Also, the pharmacies needs to, the more they sell over the counter, the better, of course. And if you can feel it and it feels soft, that's objectively first, like it feels good, right? So they sell with the good feeling that you get initially. The effect of it, though, is not good for you. As I said, if it's too soft, we take away all the load, then our muscles, tendons, and bones will degenerate. You need some kind of impact. You always remember where we come from, walking barefoot. And the only cushion layer that we had back in the days were obviously the natural ground we're walking on, and the thin layer of fat under the heel. And that's enough. You don't need this extra fat cushion.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. And I guess also the other cushion layer is the arch itself that is able to compress and expand with each step, and it acts as kind of a spring for the foot and the rest of the body.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
I just wanted to take a quick pause, Greg. Is anybody any questions in any of the chats? I know we joined late. Maybe people.
We do not have any questions currently.
Okay, no problem. I'm happy to keep talking. It's my favorite subject, which is weird, but here we are. So there's the over-the-counter insoles that they have all these fun features like the big gel padding on the bottom, or I don't know, special designs. All these sorts of things that make it very approachable. But these are the same things that make them maybe not as effective as custom orthotics. And something that I do see from our patients is they'll try on their custom orthotics and they'll say, "Oh, this feels weird." And I think what they mean is, I haven't felt support in this way before. Because people used to know orthotics, obviously don't know what it feels like, but also people used to the things that you get over the counter. It's like stepping on a pillow all of a sudden. They expect that custom orthotics are going to feel kind of even better right away. But that's not what custom orthotics are for, or the point of how they work. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit about what to expect in that first couple of days of custom orthotic use and how to make it as effective as possible.
Yeah, and let's start with the comment, it feels weird in the beginning. That's true, of course. Most of people wear insoles or orthotics for a reason. Some have pain, for instance, and there's a reason for the pain. So we want to treat the cause of that pain, not the symptom. That means we have to change something, right? Because there's a reason for the pain, maybe some misalignment or something similar. And by changing the situation, we will improve the pain level. And for this, it needs to feel a bit weird, right? It can never hurt, though. Like pain, if there's some pain, it's not made correctly. But feeling weird is absolutely normal. And the first days, you need some adaptation time. Usually what we recommend is wearing them a few hours on the first day or the first week, and then slightly increase after the second week. Latest, you will not feel them anymore. But yeah, you need some adaptation time. And this might feel like, for instance, you might get sore muscles all the way up to your lower back. That's absolutely normal. Our insoles are trained. You had that?
I had the exact same thing happen to me when I wore my custom orthotics for the first time. I was like,
yeah, you were the first one returning them, right?
Yeah. I felt it in my quadriceps, and I was thinking, why are my quadriceps sore? And I found that I was walking. This is going to be the wrong medical term, but in just like a more biomechanically healthy way, where I was putting more weight on kind of redistributing the weight on more of the front of my kinetic chain, as opposed to, I think previously a lot of the weight was kind of going and stress was going towards my lower back, but instead I was able to be on my toes a little bit more, and it was forcing me to activate muscles that have kind of gotten lazy from the shoes that I had been wearing previously.
Exactly. Misalignments are mainly caused by muscular disbalance. So we activate those muscles that were, just not in action that much, and that leads to sore muscles. So that's absolutely wanted. That's even a sign that it's effective for you.
Yeah, it was like a free workout almost. And I've now noticed that when I wear shoes without my custom orthotics, it's not that it feels weird necessarily, but I can feel my body sort of absorbing way more impact with each step. And it's something to do with the translation of the hard ground that we walk on, and the way that shoes allow me to, with their thick soles, allow me to kind of strike my heel really hard. And the orthotic seems to counteract that to put me in a more like natural position.
Yeah, it activates the natural cushioning or damping effect of your whole body structure. Whereas if you just wear the shoes, especially tight shoes, you shut off all this functional chain is shut off then.
What sort of long-term injuries do you see people getting who, like maybe people who waited a long time to try custom orthotics and they thought they would just deal with their pain or compensate in different ways? Do you see different like sort of common outcomes over time?
Yeah, quite a lot. So let's start at the foot, very front. So toe misalignments, you have those claw or hammer toes that you sometimes see. Hallux rigidus is very common. That means your big toe just gets stiff at one point. It cannot bend anymore, and that obviously has a big biomechanical effect. So if you have that, it goes back to the heel, like heel spurs or plantar fasciitis. If you're pronating too much, the tendon, or the tendon on the, no, it's not a tendon. What's the name? It's
the fascial
the ligament, yeah, on the gets stretched, and therefore it gets inflammations, and then it goes all the way up to the knees. If you have some compensation during walking, the knee is not moving as it's supposed to be, so you get knee issues, you get hip issues all the way to the lower back. As I said, it's a functional chain. It starts at the foot, and then it slowly, step by step, gets one level up.
That makes sense. And yeah, just from the kind of clinical side that I see it, people get lots of osteoarthritis over time, especially if they are doing lots of high impact activity without like proper protection. And I would argue that custom orthotics are a form of injury prevention and joint protection in the long term. We see people with low back issues. I think a lot of the time it just relates to perhaps obesity plus bad biomechanics that really originated from foot pain that's being compensated for one way or another. So it's interesting that you kind of see it from the biomechanical kinetic side, and I see it. Oftentimes it's the X-ray of the lower back where you go, oh my gosh, there's been a lot of impact there over time that hasn't been properly treated. That's super interesting. And the other thing that's kind of cool, I know we've talked about this before, but there's all these relationships that are associative, not causative, at least I think, about the flexibility of the big toe. Have I talked to you about this before?
Maybe.
You know where I'm going with this?
No, continue.
No. There's a relationship between how flexible your big toe is, how much movement you have in it, with how long you will live, your morbidity and mortality. Where the less flexibility you have, the more likely it is you will die sooner, which is kind of crazy to say, but you can imagine that toe flexibility is very related to your overall mobility, and people who aren't able to move as well are more static. They stay, they're less mobile, less cardiovascular health. It can be associated with things like diabetes and other kind of metabolic and chronic diseases. and yeah, there's this association. So I'm not saying that if you start stretching your big toe, you're going to live longer, but it is a good kind of proxy to think about your overall health. That's easy to test at home.
I can imagine that to be true. I mean, in the end, always imagine like the only connection between you and the ground is the foot, or it's the first impact. It carries all the weight. So if it's like if you build a house, if the base is not stable, the whole house is like moving a lot or unstable.
Yeah.
It's the same with your body. So take care about your feet. They carry you throughout all your life.
Well, on that note, I know we're already 8 minutes over the time, but I'm glad we were able to talk a little bit longer, given the technical difficulties. We have Greg Gerla, our CEO here, and I thought, Greg, maybe you could close this out by giving people who are listening their gift, who really made it way further than we ever even asked for. So thank you all for those who stayed and listened, and also maybe share if there's any kind of direction Stridesource is going in, maybe tease a couple updates, big updates.
Yeah, so if you guys want to take advantage of a 20% off coupon for those listening in, you can use code HAWKHILL, HAWKHILL. That's our code, and just put that at checkout or cart page. Either way, you'll see a big line at the top that says enter coupon code, and we'll do it there. In terms of what we have coming out next, yes, good question. We have a few things in the pipeline. One is our revamped Android app, which is something that we're really proud of. Basically allows us to take a 2D image and convert it into a 3D image. We do that currently, but this is at another level using video technology and some other things that we've been cooking up for close to a year now. And the other one that we were working on is sandals. We will have much more to say about that in the next couple of weeks and months. But there will be sandals to be sold in the near future.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you. Thank you all to everybody who listened. We really appreciate it. We'll do another AMA session next week, and we will have these technical difficulties figured out. We got them this week 20 minutes in. Next week we'll kind of set up 20 minutes early to get it right.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Talk soon.
Thanks, guys.